Hey guys, we're back out in the shop and we're going to keep moving along with the 5.3 build that we're working on. Today we are going to strip down the cylinder heads and get the Brian Tooley valve springs put in with the seals and everything. We're also going to relap the valves in possibly, depending on what it looks like after we clean everything up. So let's get started. Here, the last two episodes, we actually tore down this 5.3 and installed a Brian Tooley 5.3 hot rod cam. So what we got to do today is we've got their 660 valve springs, and we're going to go ahead and get the heads taken apart and those installed. So let's get started. So the way that I like to take valve springs out is I will just take a socket and extension and basically just hit it with a hammer. You'll see, it takes a couple tries, but it'll pop right out, so you can just go down the line. It goes super quick. We're not reusing any of this, so it doesn't really matter. And that quick, you've got it apart. So we're not really reusing any of that stuff. Just go ahead and stay organized here and keep it all. And I'll just check, see how the valve guides feel. Get the keepers. Nothing feels terribly wrong there. So we'll go ahead and flip this up and start pulling the valves. We want to reinstall these in the same cylinders as we put them back together. And the same tool I used for those dowel pins on the taking the cylinder heads off out of the block, I like to use for the valve seals. Just give them a spin and off they'll come. And in the matter of just a couple minutes, we've got the head stripped down. So we'll go ahead and get the other one stripped, and we'll get this in the parts washer and get it cleaned up, and then we'll do some inspecting. Well, we'll go ahead and get these in the parts washer and just get them rinsed out here. Go ahead and scrape this surface down with the super scraper again. With the BTR springs, you get a couple things. You obviously get the springs themselves. They are a double valve spring, so make sure you got both in there. You get the retainers, which is the piece that sits on top of the spring. You get the valve stem seal kit. All of those are the same. You get the locks. And then you get the locators. So these sit underneath the springs, so you need to install these first. Do not forget that. I'm going to get everything laid out on this tray just so we can stay organized. Like I said, we'll put the steel retainers down first. With this, I will take them and just touch them in oil. And put them on each valve. Let's make sure everything. And I take a 12mm socket, and this will fit and grab that valve seal perfectly just to push on it. I'll just tap it on pretty easy. You hear the tone change. Then your spring can go on, then your spring retainer, and we'll need the valve tool, and then you'll put 2 retainer clips in. So I have an older tool. This is just a single valve spring compressor for an LS. It's basically just a stud and a nut that compresses the spring. They do have newer ones that are doubled. They go a lot quicker, but this is what I have. That's what we're going to use. So you'll take this and take the Allen head and screw it into the rocker stud first. And then you kind of learn how to set this a little bit. You gotta lean it a little bit. You start tightening the nut up. Then you gotta make sure the valve's all the way up, which it is not on this one. So this is where having a towel under it helps. You can see it'll compress it. And you'll take 2 keepers and drop them in. got all 8 valve springs installed on this one head. So one trick I will do with these is I will take a soft blow rubber mallet, dead blow, and tap the valves just to make sure the locks seat all the way. And that wraps that up for this cylinder head. Let's get on to the next one. Well, we got the valve springs in, and we're just going to do a fluid test on these to see how the lapping works, but it looked good so far, so we'll let these sit and clean up a little bit more. But we are completed for now. Stay tuned. Our next episodes on this series are going to be installing the Brian Tooley trunnion upgrade and getting the heads bolted onto the block. So like, subscribe, and stay tuned.